Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Trust you had a good weekend. Political reflections, the images from Xi's state visit to Pyongyang really drive it home. Far from being an isolated and dangerous pariah, North Korea is being normalized as a nuclear power worthy of respect and influence. Take you back to February 2018 when I said what we saw unfold in Pyeongchang marks a significant and iconic moment for the Mount Paektu bloodline. On top of that, he received a letter from President Trump about which he seemed very pleased. And the point I make is that China was really never interested in bringing him to heel. He is the buffer state between China and more than 30,000 US soldiers parked on their doorstep in South Korea. According to Asia Times, the coalition of the willing is building in the South China Sea as European powers bolster the United States and its Asian allies' freedom of navigation operations vis-a-vis China. And that means the potential for low-level incidents to spiral into clashes that could spark a wider multinational conflict over the sea. Britain and France's recent warship maneuvers in the South China Sea, both strongly condemned by Beijing as illegal, have made abundantly clear that they would side with the US over China in any conflict scenario in the Flashpoint maritime area. I take you back to the 15th of October when I said then the incident with the USS Decatur, where a Chinese warship came within 45 yards of that ship, is surely a precursor. This is from Ed_Hawkins. The world is warming. Every country around the world is warming. And I wrote in November 2015, I cannot help feeling we're like frogs in boiling water. We have created massive interference in the cosmic fine-tuning phenomenon. Spy satellite images reveal how climate change is rapidly melting the Himalayan glaciers from the New Yorker. Saying there are interesting questions, but they're not relevant for us. If the ice sheets are gone, we are toast anyway. We will be gone way before. The relevant question, he continued, is what is the societal impact of the doubling in speed of these Himalayan glaciers' retreats? We know, of course, that it's really bad, but at least now we have a study that gives us a decently robust point of view of what's actually going to happen as the temperature rapidly increases. Look at this photo of sled dogs walking through water. Shows the reality of Greenland's melting ice sheet. I take you back to Olafur Eliasson and his weather project. Rainfall in Sadek this season was the lowest in almost 40 years. From there, I take you to In Pictures, Flow Like Water. Hong Kong protesters converge on police headquarters after a day of Wildcat Road occupations. And basically, they learn from themselves. Nobody really teaches them. They just adapt to different situations. Bernard 21, saying flow like water. And that took me to water as fluid, soft and yielding, but water will wear away rock, which is rigid and cannot yield. As a rule, whatever is fluid, soft and yielding will overcome whatever is rigid and hard. This is another paradox. What is soft is strong, Lao Tzu. And I wrote about Hong Kong on the 17th of June. I said they're savoring a quite momentous geopolitical victory. Supreme and paramount leader made his first that I can recall volte-face. Make no mistake, the decider in this matter is Xi, who has moved with dispatch. Essentially, he understood Hong Kong could not be Xinjiang, and furthermore, being a paramount leader is a double-edged sword. This is all on Xi's shoulders. He said personally he would handle relations with the United States, and at this point he has failed. Those relations are spiraling out of control. And I concluded by saying the periphery is a boil that will not be lanced. China will not allow the Hong Kong issue to be discussed at the G20 summit. Bloomberg opinion, Trump doesn't need to attack Iran. He's winning already. what we're seeing unfold in the Persian Gulf is a confrontation between a US president who doesn't know when he's winning and a supreme leader who doesn't know when he's losing. Trump seems to have lost sight of the fact that his maximum pressure sanctions campaign against the Islamic Republic is working. Iran's economy is feeling great pain and its isolation is deepening. For all its proclamations of resistance and resilience, the regime in Tehran is plainly alarmed, saying there's no reason to believe that a military strike would alter the behavior of the Iranian regime. Khamenei might be tempted to keep provoking US military strikes for just these reasons. Khamenei might conclude that his economy is in a shambles anyway, so what's to lose? To paraphrase the old saying about wrestling with a pig, a military exchange with the Islamic Republic would hurt both the US and Iran, but Khamenei would enjoy it. So allow the maximum pressure campaign to keep weakening the regime. Khamenei may never recognize that he's losing, but it's time for Trump to see that he's winning. As I wrote on the 13th of May, and to confirm what that article was saying, this level of financial and coercive sanction warfare is simply unprecedented, and Iran is very much at the Hunter S. Thompson edge. There is no honest way to explain it because the only people who really know where it is are the ones who have gone over. Khamenei is an example. Pepe Escobar in Zero Hedge writes 1 quadrillion reasons why Washington fears Iran's maximum counter-pressure. As I previously reported, shutting down the Strait of Hormuz would destroy the American economy by detonating the 1.2 quadrillion derivatives market. The whole northern border of the Persian Gulf on Iranian territory is lined up with anti-ship missiles. The extent of a possible derivatives crisis is an uber taboo theme for the Washington consensus institutions. The key point, he says, is that it doesn't matter how the Strait of Hormuz is blocked, and that's why I said they'll block it after an asymmetric fashion. What matters is the final result. Any blocking of the energy flow will lead the price of oil to reach $200 a barrel, $500, or even, according to some Goldman Sachs projections, $1,000. Even before sparks start to fly, Iran could declare that the Persian Gulf is in a state of war, declare that the Strait of Hormuz is a war zone, and then ban all hostile military and civilian traffic in its half of the strait. Without firing a single shot, no shipping company on the planet would have oil tankers transiting the Persian Gulf. And on the 13th of May, I said no number of Trump tweets will dampen the price. Oil keeps rising, last at $57.94, that's WTI. As I said, Iranians will surely manage to shutter the Straits of Hormuz, even if after an asymmetric fashion. And therefore, if this Khamenei-Trump boutfest kicks off, then we could very well see a price spike, and that one touch is the way to go. On the recording heard by The Guardian, Johnson can be heard refusing to leave the flat and telling Simmons to get off my effing laptop before there is a loud crashing noise. And I thought to myself that, the laptop was a step too far. They were careless people, Tom and Daisy. They smashed up things and creatures and then retreated. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. Excellent short documentary about Boris Johnson's irresistible rise. The Horse Cure says this story humanizes Carrie and Boris in a way that can only boost their popularity, and it eases the future PM's House proud partner into number 10 very nicely. They just need lots of salt and stain remover for the Barolo spills. He's definitely going to win. They're a rotten crowd, I shouted across the lawn. You're worth the whole damn bunch put together, Scott Fitzgerald. So we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. And as I sat there brooding on the old unknown world, I thought of Gatsby's wonder when he first picked out the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. He had come a long way to this blue lawn, and his dream must have seemed so close that he could hardly fail to grasp it. He did not know that it was already behind him, somewhere back in that vast obscurity beyond the city, where the dark fields of the Republic rolled on under the night. Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eludes us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow we will run faster, stretch out our arms further, and one fine morning. And so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. This is a photograph of the peaks of Mount Kenya seen from the slopes of Fairmont Mount Kenya in a mysterious green light. A promise that the rock of the world was founded securely on a fairy's wing.